Hello, everyone. It is currently 7:31. I'll call the meeting 1426 to order. I'd like to welcome the gallery and the online viewers. You'll see your agenda in front of you for meeting number 1429. Any additions? Hearing none, we'll move on. Regular meeting number 1425 from November 1st, 2021. The minutes for the meeting number 1425 are presented. Are there any errors or omissions? Hearing none, can I get a mover? Moved by Councillor Freak, seconded by Councillor Hancock. All those in favor? Motion carried. All right, moving on. Business arising from the minutes. Is there any business arising from the minutes?
I just have one. Just wondering from the in the previous Public Works report, it talks about intersection Elwood Clinic Drive. I know that we've put up the new stop sign, but did we contact Elwood yet? I'm just wondering if that aspect, in order to move along the other pieces, has occurred.
No, I haven't. Is anyone from the town? Okay.
I just want to
Yep,
make
no,
sure
I
it
agree.
becomes something we do, you know. So.
Okay, can we take double note of that, Maxine, please? Thank you. Anything else? All right. Moving on to new business. Is there any new business? Deputy Mayor Young?
Mayor Guzman, Council, I would just like, if I can, a quick minute to update on the formation of the new Health and Wellness Committee. Mayor Guzman and I have been working together to establish a framework from which this committee will be founded and grow. We're working to set some discrete parameters to try and reduce the natural overlap that occurs between health and recreation. We're moving through some logistics, operational logistics such as staffing, and we're in the process of setting some concrete goals that we would like to move towards in 2022. So yeah, just some things that we're certainly still moving through, but looking forward to solidly starting in the new year.
All right, thank you, Deputy Mayor Young. And I'd like to just add to that, obviously, as a member of that committee, that I just want to apologize to anyone if I haven't gotten back. We've got quite a few residents actually that are engaged in this committee, same as the committee myself and Councillor Langdon are going to put together with the youth and seniors. So we are working on it. It's going to be a bit of time before it gets structured, but we want to do it right. So if I haven't gotten back to anyone, obviously I have access to public to you here now on the with the camera live stream. So just want to let people know that we are working on it, and I do intend to get back to everyone that has reached out. Any more new business?
Yes, I'd like to recognize Mr. Jim Feltham and his 50 years in coaching. He won the 44th annual Elwood Invitational this weekend. So we made a small presentation and a thanks to him this weekend. So just wanted to let the public know that we will be posting a small video, and we took a picture earlier with our Team Jim Legend t-shirts on, which the mayor, I don't know if you want to show what to look for. Elwood Lakers Legend, Team Jim. So we wore those tonight and took a picture. I want to make note that well, we didn't have a lot to do with the Coca-Cola holiday truck in town today, but the mayor was able to track him down and stop just a pit stop and move him into town a little bit further. So we got him into the stadium parking lot this morning. Grateful to that company for stopping in. And Santa is going to be back in Deer Lake on December the 4th for the firefighter Santa Claus parade. And we want to encourage council and the fire department. Would like to see more attendance this year. So maybe if it's a simpler task to have your ATV or your quad in the side-by-side in the Santa Claus parade, we'd love to see you this year. So follow the Deer Lake Fire Rescue Facebook page for more details, to register your float, and Santa will be back in town soon.
Thank you. Any other new business? Councillor Langdon?
I'm sure most of you guys are aware Premier Ferry recently announced $4 million for Come Home Year 2022, a campaign initiative started for the entire province. I'd like to establish a committee under the Arts, Recreation and Culture of outside user and interest groups to try to develop a campaign for that in our area to create a regional Come Home Year for 2022 and work to figure out what would be the best to stimulate the economy in terms of the time frame, whether it be July and August or so on. But so I'd like the council to look into that and see where we can go from there.
That's a great suggestion, and ultimately I'll leave it with you guys. It's you're well positioned, and you've got some good experience and also some good energy around that, so I appreciate that, and we look forward to hearing further updates on it. Thank you. I just wanted to speak to the this weekend past, obviously, Mr. Feltham, council members, Councillor Langdon, Councillor Freak, and Deputy Mayor Young took their time. Obviously, everyone's schedules are extremely busy, but I just want to say thank you personally for doing that. And Councillor Freak reached out, and said this is a great opportunity. So I want to say thank you to Councillor Freak. It's something that I guess, and I have no issue saying it publicly. Me and Mr. Feltham had our challenges over years when I was a student, and it wasn't him. I was wrong. I have no issue saying it because he was ultimately looking out for my best interest. So I'd just like to hear tonight say a personal thank you. You've been a mentor, and it's put me on the right path in life. As for Santa Claus, obviously there's been a lot of discussion with Coca-Cola. Obviously, yesterday quite a bit of discussion. Ultimately, they had a different route planned to get them here. We did have a plan that looked like we were going to be able to get them to school, and then speaking with their Public Works Chair, Darren Fitzgerald, we discussed that ultimately it's not we couldn't get them there. So the Coca-Cola company, I guess the executives or whatnot, were still pleased that we reached out and they were willing to work with us. So yeah, it was worth seeing that first smile on a child's face. But back to Councillor Freak's comment that Santa is coming back to town, so everyone will get to see him.
Yeah, I have one for new business as well. Everyone should have received an email from the Economic Development Officer, Mark, regarding the Junction Trailblazers request for bog matting. The amount that Mark is suggesting that we provide is 15, and he did ask for this to come up in tonight's meeting. We've used about 25 ourselves, and if we were to give them 15, we'd have about 20 left. And they're no doubt a partner of ours. The Junction Trailblazers, they're building the trail network around us and in Deer Lake, and we've been a partner of theirs for some time. And personally, I'm okay with the give, and I guess I just wanted to ensure this email came up tonight. And I'm not sure if we need a motion or what we need in that regard, or if it's just a friendly, hey, we got it, and we've been helping them out anyway. I'm not sure.
And that, let me see. No. Okay, well, yeah, ultimately we can just do that. We'll use that process to make a motion. So if you want to make a written motion.
Yeah, so a motion to provide the Junction Trailblazers with 15 bog matting from our inventory. That's it.
Okay. So we have a motion by Councillor Hancock.
I'll second that.
Call for a question.
Yeah, just are they reusable, Councillor Hancock? I'm not entirely sure.
Mark, I'm not sure. Do you know if they're reusable once? I imagine as long as they, they're obviously created out of materials that can go into a bog, and therefore, if they can, I guess if they're not there too long.
Didn't we?
Yeah, well, they're reusable in the sense that they're made of wood and they're structures that reinforce a boggy area, so that's less impact.
Gotcha. I have no idea what they are, to be honest. So I.
Yeah. Do you want to speak?
And there was a visual provided, right? So it's a big mat worth of wood that's held together by bolts, and basically they're laid down in large projects in swampy areas called bog mats or swamp mats, so that the impact on the environment on large projects. We got them from Amera, from the Transportation Link project when they were finished. So we're reusing them now.
Yeah, that's true.
In our trail development and in other instances where Junction Trailblazers and the Federation has run into trouble with infrastructure. And And so again, we're finding ourselves with a request to redo an area that's problematic between us and Reedville. And so I think 15 is fine. It'll help them get the job done, and we'll still have 20 in our original inventory of 60 that we purchased.
Excellent. Sounds good.
Hearing any more questions? Motion carried. All right, we'll move on to correspondence. Let's see here. In front of you see item number 1, Town of Reedville requesting a meeting regarding the MEO. Reedville is good for any time, so Deer Lake will have to pick a time. So I guess,
We were
Maxine?
thinking the off Monday night if we had them come in
Okay.
early.
So if you could put an email out to us so we can confirm that and let the Town of Reedville know sooner. Okay.
Next Monday's budget. We're gonna probably need all next Monday for budget.
Okay, so if you want
Really,
to,
I mean,
yeah, no, so just
Wonder
put it,
If you let them come in a half hour before and then do it that way.
yeah, we put an email out, then we can respond and get as long as we have a majority.
okay.
Okay. Item number 2, Department of Justice and Public Safety, there's fire protection grant. That's for your information. Municipal and Provincial Affairs, info for new counselors, for your information. Item number 4, Municipal and Provincial Affairs, request for information. It's been completed and sent in. Item number 5, MAA, ballots, complete and send back. And item number 6, Department of Transportation Infrastructure, deadline for applications. That's for your information. Item number 5, are those ballots? Okay, so we have them? Okay, good. All right, and that concludes. Yeah, go ahead.
Number 2 for our fire protection assistant grant. I understand the money is there, yes, and we're approved, but it says in the provincial share of this funding will be issued upon submission of paid invoices no later than January 2022. My understanding is those bunker suits could take up to 6, 7, 8, 9 months to get them.
Do you know if we're allowed to prepay?
Uh,
Like order and,
Well, I
If
was
they're
thinking
ordered
just-
and invoiced,
just
you
get
should be
some,
fine.
get a letter of understanding saying, we got them ordered, but there's a time delay, just to make sure we don't lose the
No.
time frame there.
That's a good question. Ultimately, I just, I noted when I was reading that report over the weekend that it states Mayor Mark Guzny instead of Mayor Mike Guzny, so we'd have to get that changed, obviously, so that'd be a good time to,
I guess your brother
There's-
will fill in for you every now and then.
yeah, I guess, yeah. But ultimately, there was an error there, which is, I've been called Mark for pretty much my whole life, for many people that don't know me, but just for further reference, you could do dually in that same one phone call.
Definitely.
Thank you, Councillor Jones. All right, any more questions to the correspondence? All right.
I'm thinking we perhaps, do we need a motion for the ballot? Or did we already select our person and therefore that's a done deal? I mean, the ballot is here.
That's a done deal as far as I was concerned.
Oh, okay.
And then the urban director
Bring it back.
will bring it back to the next public council meeting so we can see if there's any resumes for those folks.
Okay,
I sent my resume for the western one.
okay. All right, so moving on to reports, and we'll start with finance, please. Councillor Jones.
Okay, we had a meeting held on November the 10th. Number 1, Brook Construction claim for $125,897.40. This is for the annex, recommend approval. 2022 Saltscapes advertising. They were requesting advertising in the booklet, but we recommend see other places we have advertised first. So we want to get the best bang for our buck, so we don't get double advertised in the same area. Number 3, SN Lavalin Boat Launch, $8,205.25. This was deferred from November the 1st. We needed more information. That tonight we are recommend approving. Number 4, tax adjustments of $43,624.37. Business, $6,006.23. Property, $1,030.34. On the other, $24,186.79. Deferred, $22,886.79. Poll tax, $12,401.01. Exemptions, $24,605.90. We recommend approval for tax adjustments in the amount of $20,737.58. Deferred account number 115569, $22,886.79. Recommend approval of exemptions for $24,605.90. Meets criteria for the exemptions. Number 5, you see a breakdown of revenue and expenses year-to-date for information purposes. And number 6, a gentleman looking for a tax break due to COVID, and that we recommend not approval for this. And I will do my accounts payable after this.
All right, so we have a mover by Councillor Jones, seconded by Councillor Freak. Call for the question. Hearing none. All those in favor? Motion carried. Thank you.
Okay, on our accounts payable, we got a list there from 1 to 65, excluding number 61, because I'll declare a conflict of interest for this, so we do this separate. So I move that we accept accounts payable for November 10th, as I said, items number 1 to 65, excluding number 61.
Moved by Councillor Jones, seconded by Councillor Freak. Call for a question. Hearing none. All those in favor? Motion carried.
Thank you.
So we'll need a second, yeah.
I'll
so if you
do,
want
I'll
to
do
separate-
item 61.
All right, Councillor Freak.
Item number 61, an invoice for Western Steel for $248.68. I make a motion for that invoice, and then the total accounts payable, $128,571.95.
Moved by Councillor Freak, seconded by Councillor Fitzgerald. Call for the question. Hearing none. All those in favor? Thank you. All right, moving on to Environment and Housing.
The Environmental and Housing Committee met on November 4th at 3:30. In attendance, myself, Krista Jones, Keith Park, Councillor Fitzgerald, Maxine Hayden, and Mark Lambswood and Dave Thomas. So permits, general repairs, items 1 through 3 recommended for approval. New residents, number 4, a revised application was submitted for multi-unit construction on 25 North Main Street. It was deferred pending additional information. Number 5, a permit to operate a business was submitted for 13 North Main Street. The business proposal was a beauty salon providing hairstyling services and product retail, hoping to employ 1 to 3 people and aiming to start on December 1st of 21. This was recommended for approval pending any service NL requirements. Number 6, the developers of a proposed mini home development near Rees Lane requested an opportunity to present their proposal in person to full council on November 1st. Unfortunately, due to time constraints, not all the questions brought forth by council and town staff had the opportunity to be fully addressed. As such, any decisions on those permits were deferred pending that further information. Number 7, 78 to 80 Riverbank Road, Newfoundland power notification for units 1 through 4. This was recommended for approval. Number 8, the renewal of permit number 2462 for 2 6th Avenue was recommended for approval. Number 9, 8 Piercy's Drive. A request was submitted to set up an inspection station for public vehicles. This location is already performing commercial inspections. As such, this was recommended for approval. Number 10, there was a wayfinding and signage inquiry put forth regarding different sections of the walking trail. The EDO and the rec director have been both working on this in separate parts of the walking trail and are hoping to coordinate for 2022. Number 11, 18 George Aaron Drive, a water and sewer inquiry. The homeowner requested an in-person meeting to be held on November 8th. Any decisions on this permit were deferred pending the results of that meeting. Number 12, a referral from Crown Lands regarding a farm plan. This was recommended for approval. Number 13, a referral from Crown Lands regarding an application for a dock. Recommendation at this time was not to approve, secondary to concerns regarding impact to boating traffic and subsequent safety concerns. Number 14, Western DMO requesting partner supports. This was referred to finance. Number 15, 12 Waits Lane. A proposal was submitted for a seasonal temporary cover over a portable mill. This was recommended for approval pending the requirements of the Department of Forestry. And number 16, a quarry referral. This was actually deferred to Cormac as it fell outside the Deer Lake town boundaries. So I move we accept the Environment and Housing Report of November 4th, 2021.
So we have a mover by Deputy Mayor Young, seconded by Councillor Fitzgerald. Call for question. Hearing none. All those in favor? Motion carried. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Young. Moving on to Public Works, Councillor Fitzgerald.
The Public Works Committee met on November 12th, 2021. In attendance was Councillor Hancock, Councillor Langdon, Public Works Manager Dave Thomas, Town Manager Maxine Hayden, and Communications Officer Jason Young. Item number 1 was the drainage issue on Elizabeth Avenue. Public Works recommendation is to contact Newfoundland Power on behalf of our residents to have the adjacent power line easement cleared. We believe the cleared easement may provide better drainage or at least assist in determining possible alternatives to solving the current drainage issue. Item number 2, water sewer hookup, George Aaron Drive. Public Work recommends that a new sewer hookup be permitted near the end of the existing driveway, abandoning the existing unused current connection. However, Public Works needs to address the lateness of the season where we feel the work can only be performed next year. Open excavations are susceptible to frost, compaction of fills, and which will be difficult at such temperatures, and the availability of asphalt is quite questionable at this time of year as well. Therefore, we recommend that this work commence next year when weather permits. In addition, the homeowner shall maintain the existing water connection, and no new water connection will be installed. Number 3, flooding at Hancock's Road. Public Works recommends deferring this item at this time. Our officials will monitor this area during our next rainfall to see exactly what is occurring. Public Works wishes to note that a new catch basin was recently installed just east of the property in question. Number 4, this is a contract change for the annex regarding rebar cages. Public Works recommends approving the ask. The change order is minuscule to the overall project costs, and it is required to have work proceed. Moreover, Public Works is setting up a meeting with our consultant team to discuss the overall project particulars and design. Goose Arm Road, Evans Road. Public Works recommends that Environment and Housing invite Mr. Evans to find out exactly what the plan is with respect to the new access made between residents at 80 and 82 Goose Arm Road. In the meantime, Public Works recommends that the existing culvert requires cleaning, which is required as soon as possible. Item number 6, Capital Works. Public Works recommends that the town apply for 4 new capital projects. Project number 1 is the Garden Road Water and Sewer Phase 2. Second is the main dam upgrades, main dam road, sorry. C, lift station upgrades. And 4, a storm sewer study to be performed throughout the town. Our applications will be provided by S&C Lavalin, who actually has these, which are just more or less a continuation of previous applications. Item number 7, testing and inspection for future works. So based on past projects, Public Works sees the importance of having proper testing and inspection for all large projects moving forward. We know resident services have a cost, but in all honesty, it's money well spent. Therefore, Public Works recommends that the town adopt a new policy which will more or less provide a range of what level of inspection is required, which shall complement the estimated construction costs. The policy shall indicate that projects greater than 50,000 shall require quality assurance, quality control testing for items such as concrete, asphalt, granulars, etc. Projects range between 50,000 and 75,000 required part-time field inspection atop the quality, the QA/QC testing. Public Works manager shall determine the level and term of inspection. All projects greater than 75,000 shall require full-time resident services atop the QA/QC. Obviously, the policy shall be written to allow for some forgiveness based on the recommendations from our Public Works Department if they feel inspection should be limited. Number 8, proposed subdivision on 2A Goose Arm Road. Public Works recommends that Environment Housing invite the proponent to present their overall perspective of this area. Meanwhile, Public Works is recommending that the removing of all materials is to stop in this area until development plan is approved and the new grade lines are determined. Number 9 is the Xavier traffic flow. There's a conceptual drawing, I think, in front of all of you for discussion. Obviously, this is just a proposed drawing that I completed there myself. It wasn't in our package, so I more or less had our town manager actually produce these right before our meeting. I didn't realize that. It's more or less to complement our proposed meeting with the Xavier staff and school board. They asked for us to provide a concept prior to moving forward. But once again, this is open for discussion with all council members, and all comments are welcome. So. If there's no discussion, I'll move on to item 10.
No,
Are
I
we-
mean, sorry.
Yeah,
I mean, I was just going to, I mean, it looks good, and it incorporates the sidewalk. I guess, if approved tonight, then we'll submit this to Xavier as the next step in moving this forward.
Yeah, that's more or less.
That's it.
So if we come up here, we open Xavier Lane just during school hours, would we gate that back off like Elwood does? Elwood kind of.
That could be an option, Councillor Freak. Our thing was to put signage up, more or less blocking all traffic to using Xavier Lane to make it one way during certain hours. I know
Right.
the signage in the layout below is hard to see in these little small copies, but the gated option would be obviously, and I don't see that being a problem. It's just having someone from the school open and close the gate every day
Yeah,
at those
could be
times
difficult.
may cause a little bit of issue. So, yeah.
We talked about before when you're kind of coming in that street, would you then avoid all parking along that side? Because we talked about maybe that fence could move in a little tiny bit previously. Remember? Like, was that still an option? Was there any road width there if we replaced the fence?
Not on that side,
No?
no.
I'd just like to point out that these are old digital drawings that I had, and I tried my very best that it should fit as shown. There is a lot of pavement work or pavement painting.
Right.
Plus, there is a little bit of road work that will be required for Xavier Lane because the asphalt connection between Xavier Junior High and Xavier is missing.
Is not there. Yeah, yeah, I get it.
So,
Because we talked
Long
about
gone.
flow through that road, but only during school hours. So then the
Yeah.
community, like, you wouldn't, if there was an event on a Saturday afternoon, you know, it wouldn't be open, that you had that traffic flow going through there. So that was just a couple of, that's kind of where my head was at, you know, will we just time it? You know, you can, this is one way only during school hours.
well, that's just another bit of signage
Right.
if need be, or the gated issue if
Right.
that's what the school wishes to have. I guess the biggest thing would be the operation of the gate. I really don't believe most motorists, even if they are attending anything on the weekend, are going to use Xavier Lane.
Right,
It is sending you to a different part of the area, so.
right. It was also brought up, last week we spoke to Keith about the timed, speed limit in front of Xavier, that it was asked by the RCMP, like most schooling areas only reduce your traffic flow during school hours, not like continuous like Saturdays, Sundays, evenings, you know. The speed limit's only 40 anyway. Is that something that we would be open to reviewing as well?
Can we put that back to
Public
committee,
Works? Yeah,
Maxine, for a recommendation, please?
yeah. Okay, thanks.
All right, so I guess in the essence of this file, Councillor Fitzgerald, really appreciate it. This is a pretty expedited follow-up from our meeting, and I appreciate how busy you are, so thank you for this. Is it fair to say everyone's in the general consensus, so what we'll do from here is submit this to the school board, or the staff, sorry, and then the staff are going to submit this to a school board, but ultimately, basically, we need some context in a letter to, am I right, Councillor Fitzgerald, to
Yep.
submit this, and then they will submit it to the school board, and if it stops there, then we will go a different route, because ultimately this is about public safety and for children, so we don't want this held up anymore.
Yeah.
And in our meeting, we said, you know, we're not trying to intervene on, obviously, school grounds, but ultimately, those children are residents here, and they're our responsibility, so we're working together, and ultimately, again, you have this concept that, you know, works, so hopefully there's no hold up this time.
And I think our MEO can attest to the traffic in that area as being severe, and
Yeah.
it is a
Yeah.
safety
Yeah.
problem for our local.
And I feel very confident saying around this table, none of us want to be reactive. That's why we're being proactive, so, in working with the school and the school board together. So can we say, so everyone's in favor of this concept?
Yep.
Just
I
so we
like
can
it.
get that
It's
letter.
starting. It's gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, okay, perfect. All right, sorry to interrupt,
No,
but carry on.
All right, item number 10, there is a current development ongoing on Tower Road. I guess Tower Road and Nicholsville Road. This development of land is currently ongoing without a permit. Public Works recommends a stop work order in place until a permit is issued. Number 11, the current Main Street development, which was mentioned in Environment and Housing. So to complement item number 4 of Environment and Housing's agenda, Public Works recommends that all works stop until proper permits are obtained. Currently, the excavated area has an angle of repose which causes damage to the adjacent properties and Main Street infrastructure. In addition, a catch basin has recently been buried, which requires immediate attention. Number 12. This is a new item that was brought up in our committee meeting. The adoption of a new backfilling and excavation policy. So based on many past and present activities and the ongoing issues with the drainage changes, property aesthetics, etc., Public Works recommends that the town adopt a new excavation and backfilling policy and application. Residents shall require a permit for all major landscaping activities. That may or may not include clearing. I think it should. And smaller projects shall be exempt, i.e. if you're bringing some topsoil delivered or small amounts of fill to your property. So that's item number 12. And item number 13, Trans-Canada Highway, Bennett Avenue, Riverside Drive development. Land clear there behind Simmons Tires. Public Works is recommending that E&H invite the proponent to present their plan for the cleared area, so we can have a better idea of what's planned for the future in that area. And with that, I move to accept the Public Works agenda of November 12th, 2021.
All right, we have a mover for the Public Works report. We need a seconder. Moved by Councillor Langdon. Questions to the report?
Just a couple. On number 2, for the sewer hookup, I guess reading through the, I guess the different dates that the landowners were back and forth, seemed like it was a lot of, not saying, I guess, I don't know, it was misleading or misunderstandings of the conversation that our policies should have been in place. And, you know, I get it, disappointing that the landowner not going to get help this time of the year. I understand it's against our policy, but according to the different conversations, the landowner wasn't informed of certain time to look up. So I definitely think we should review our permit applications again going forward, so we can stop, you know, not to have no more any misunderstandings for anybody.
You mean just to add that date on the?
Dates and, like, you know,
Physically
you
on the
hook up and
permit?
all, everything like that there, right? Just
I think that's reasonable.
you know, to get it fine tuned,
Yeah.
right, so it don't happen again, you know. Like I said, just to make it better, more clearer. For
And the
that one.
hookup for that, when you guys are saying you're gonna move that, so we're not gonna lose any trees on the property, we're willing to do a different hookup?
Yeah,
a
we're
different
willing
location?
we're willing to move the sewer spigot to the end of the driveway so we save the trees. The current or the existing
Okay,
sewer spigot is in an area that was past previous homeowners, I guess, agreed to when water and sewer was placed through Nicholsville, well,
Okay.
through Goose Arm, George Aaron area.
right,
We understand that the residents want to keep their landscaped area. It's beautiful trees there. It's a good.
yeah,
So that's why we're moving to allow this sewer spigot move.
okay,
Obviously, the homeowner has a lot of work to change over from septic to sewer, which is unfortunate. But at this very time, we wish the water hookup that sits in that place to remain as is. We don't want to have a second hookup.
right,
Abandoning a valve into the road by just turning it off will cause leaks in the future and may cause other issues when time
Okay.
comes. So,
Okay, thank you. So number 4, contract change of Brooks, you know, it's a small amount for our project, but is there any more changes coming? And like, I guess number 1, did we hear of any more changes or overrides or expenses? And number 2, like obviously this is not a budget item, so where would this money be coming from to pay for this amount? And number 3, was this in the original drawing or was it overlooked? I guess a few questions that, you know, like, I guess all of us like to hear and get answered, right?
sure. Obviously, when you look at our move to set up with our consultant team to discuss the overall project particulars, there is a couple of other change orders that exist at this very time that we are dealing with. Our biggest part here is that we know that the retaining structures have to be built as shown, and the town didn't want to be the proponent that holds up construction. The $8,000 change order could obviously turn into something much larger, and I don't believe the town of Deer Lake should be responsible for that. Obviously, we were going to plan to try and recuperate this money, but that involves a discussion with our consultant team. There are certain things that we have questioned our consultant team in the last month, and I know our town officials are working diligently on this file. Actually, I think they all should be applauded because the annex has been an overall day-filling job. So, no, and I really appreciate all the individuals in the town that are dealing with the annex at this time. And I think the faster that we meet with our consultant team, hopefully we can get ourselves back on schedule with the annex.
Perfect. So I guess we'll have to have a chat with our town manager to see where we're gonna get the money to for this. 9,000 ring. And also number 6, is this a budget item for the storm drain study? Can anybody tell me that?
Well,
No, that would be new money that we're going to apply
Apply
for, we're
capital.
going to the government now for, see if we get any new money for projects for 2022, 23.
Okay, so we're not gonna get, we haven't got SNC preparing this now, we gotta wait till we get money, or are we, it's just next year's, or?
We're just putting in the application, see if we get funding.
Oh, okay, you're talking about the actual preparation costs,
Yeah, no,
the
this is for
submission
applications.
costs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure.
This is just for applications.
Okay,
All right.
good, thanks.
Any more questions for the Public Works report? We've
Just
got a-
on number 6, item number 3 is the upgrade to the lift station.
Yeah, that's the lift station. It's a pass.
Not a just a grammar. Just a
a
grammar.
spelling
Yeah.
piece. Spelling piece.
Sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
So this is
Oh.
2022 project, right?
Yes.
So our filter is not included in this, we already got money for the filter, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. All right, so is there any more questions for the Public Works report? We have a mover and we have a seconder. All those in favor? Motion carried. Thank you, Councillor Fitzgerald. Moving on to recreation. Councillor Langdon, please.
The Department of Arts, Recreation and Culture met on November 3rd, 2021 at 4 p.m. In attendance was Councillor Langdon, Deputy Mayor Young, as well as Councillor Hancock, who was not, he'll be added to this. Director of Recreation and Community Services, Glenn Wiseman, and Town Manager, Maxine Hayden. Item number 1, we spoke about walking trail signage, in particular on the area near the Deer Lake Municipal RV Park and the Shears, I believe it's called Shears Lane there, or Park Lane. So we're going to consult with the town EDM to ensure that we can have signage erected in that area so it can be clearly marked when you come off the walking trail area, down the sidewalk, and back onto our trail system. The urgency is not there right now as we near the end of our walking season. Item number 2 was arena chaperones or referees for the family skating, which happens on Fridays. We've been having numerous issues with some issues on the ice and whatnot. So moving forward, we will have a chaperone or referee on the ice at all times. The town Christmas supper, Recreation recommends closing the arena, pool, and bowling alley on Friday night, December 10th, so that all staff can attend the Christmas party. Right now, the only conflicting would be a family swim would have to be canceled. Bowling alley is just open for any time, and then there is a user group renting the ice from 3:45 to 7 p.m. You can cloud that back an hour, and then a family skate would have to be canceled, and then plus any open bookings, which we would not accept moving forward between now and December 10th. Main Street light pricing, in order to change all the lights on the trees, take them down and put up 2 new lights with the double heads and 2 floodlights on either tree. It seemed that one light at the time was not projecting well enough on the tree. The total cost would be $7,200, and if we just went with the signal light, it'd be approximately $5,000 at this time. I don't think we're going to proceed with that. Street light, Recreation will contact Newfoundland Power to see if we can have street lights erected on the ramp near the business of Home Hardware in Nicholsville on the side of the overpass that there's currently 3 crosswalks there and no lights projecting right over them. These crosswalks are on the ramp leaving Deer Lake to Cornerbrook, as well as the ramp entering Deer Lake traveling westbound on the Trans-Canada Highway. And just some general information and FYIs, grants applied for. 2 community healthy living grants, one for $10,000 to help offset the cost of the wheelchair accessible swing, and one for $7,000 for a wheelchair accessible concrete pad if approved through the budget process. Just an update on the arena capacity as well. The current capacity is determined on the distance rules. Arena staff have changed around the seat to allow for a maximum capacity that will fit in the arena. We now have a combination of single seats, double seats, 3, 4, and 5 seating together, as well as standing room for a total of 316 seats and standing room, so 316 occupants at the building. Each available seat is clearly marked at the time with a yellow sticker that states "Sit here." As regulations are constantly changing, we are monitoring that, and as we progress through COVID-19, we will make the changes accordingly to the regulations available at the time and keep everybody informed to ensure that we can have our maximum capacity in the building as well, maintaining the safety of the constituents. That's everything at this time, and I make a motion to accept this.
All right, moved by Councillor Langdon, seconded by Deputy Mayor Young. Call for the question.
On the main street, I guess the lighting, like you saw two scenarios. That's just the information purposes. We're not looking at either one of them, are we?
No, not at this time.
No, and ultimately, Councillor Jones, that would obviously go to budget for 2022. So if that discussion were to transpire, it would happen then, right?
Under the, I guess, arena capacity in COVID, I was down to the stadium the weekend watching my grandson play hockey, and I heard a couple of staff talking about they're having issues of people trying to get in without being vaccinated, and probably a couple of, I guess, encounters. You know, and you know, just rumors as if there's people get let in through the doors and stuff like that there. Can we have we got 2 MEO officers now, can we have them scheduled to go down on the weekend? Like, you know, they're not. I'm sure we can change the schedule to go down and just keep an eye on these things, the seriousness.
We've had them down there, this was Maxine, and we've actually had them down there, especially while hockey games were going on over the past weekend. They've been there, they've been watching the doors, and after those couple of encounters, the MEOs have contacted those individuals. Still waiting for one to call back. They're not from this town, but haven't been back in the building since.
So
I was gonna ask
get a
that,
good
like-
control on it.
Even if we didn't have our staffed MEO staffers paid during that time, even if I don't know what recourse we got with the video footage and stuff. I mean, we've got lots of cameras and stuff down there, so you know we know you're unvaccinated. You got in. We even had last Friday night the moms that were taken at the ticket booth out front. They knew that there was children over 12 that were not vaccinated that were in the stadium. So, you know, maybe just if we get those reports come back to Glenn, that the MEOs can make contact, you know what I mean? Even if they don't have to be there for every, you know,
Oh, yeah,
single
no,
thing.
just make people aware that, you know, we're not going to tolerate it, and
I
we want
mean,
to protect
No,
our
absolutely.
citizens. And we wanna
What's
protect
the
our-
recourse?
Yeah, so right now, and I agree with you, Councillor Jones, you know, I feel like we ensure that we rule swiftly on this, and I think we're doing a good job at the arena as well as, you know, recognizing it when it does happen and, you know, calling these people out and ensuring that they know it's unacceptable moving forward. Councillor Freak just mentioned what is the recourse. At this time, I don't think we have any.
We've been informed to call the RCMP, which is what we've actually told
Yeah.
individuals that
Okay.
they will do.
So right, and also I'm open to looking into recourses as a municipality as well, whether that be, you know, some type of, you know, suspension from the arena and the facilities and whatnot. You know, I'd be open to that. We can discuss that further. Right now, I don't think we have anything implemented at this time. It's,
We've actually banned people from the arena and from all
Yeah.
spaces.
so I think right now it's on a case-by-case basis, correct? So if we can, you know, just put in some type of consistency to that as well, I think that'd be great moving forward.
People just got to know how to take it serious.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I think if there was a major event or something, you know, where we were expecting full capacity, and maybe, you know, discussion between recreation and management to address those sort of those moments of potentially having like an MEO on site or something, right?
Absolutely,
The
yeah, and I
larger,
think it's
the larger.
important to mitigate the risks, or, you know, to let them know that this is unacceptable right now, to set a precedence that we are monitoring it closely, and, you know, I think we are.
Yeah.
Just hopefully we can progress with that and, you know, keep
Yeah.
that up.
I think, I think no doubt, Glenn, you know, it's somewhat new and doing the best to adapt to this situation as it
definitely.
progresses.
Good job.
Yeah.
And to continue with the COVID discussion here, I asked Councillor Langdon today to see if he could clarify the actual government standard for participation in sports or recreation, to have clarification, because I've had a few parents have asked, what are you allowed to do in the stadium if you're not actually playing sports? Are you allowed to coach? Are you allowed to officiate? That kind of issue. So I know Councillor Langdon is looking into that part, but I just wanted to
Gotcha.
Yeah, so as per our conversation earlier as well, there's been, as Councillor Fitzgerald just mentioned, there's been cases of currently the government allows participation in people under the age of 18, not vaccinated, to come in, but what is participation?
Yeah.
Is it volunteer? Is it, your paid officials? Is it a coaching? So we're looking into that to ensuring that, nobody's slipping through the cracks here and everybody's doing their due diligence to get vaccinated and keep, the community safe.
Any more questions? All right, I just want to make comment to the arena chaperones. Just want to say thanks to the committee for highlighting that, and the manager. Obviously, when it was taken back, there wasn't issues, but noticing that there's been some safety issues for general skating, so that's going to go forward, and that's a great initiative. And the street lighting, that's one that I think many of us have identified, and sometimes obviously, Councillor Hancock can attest to my stern eye to street lighting and whatnot, but this would be a great addition. I just want to make an additional note, Maxine. I did submit some dark areas, so whether I'm assuming they'd be in, but Glenn seems to have the best contact for, so maybe we can, get this going with the other ones as well.
At the M&L conference, Newfoundland Power had a presentation. We can get his name, but he had told us there was a couple of other municipalities that had issues with dark areas and replacement and no response back, no fixed lights. He said contact him directly. So that we can get you that name, but in that M&L conference last week, he was the person that will follow through on our dark areas.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And it is nice to see that there was 3 that were reported lately, and they came back with the LED lights, which are.
Yeah, so I believe any lights they're replacing there now will all be LED.
All
I believe they
LEDs.
hope to have was it 90% replaced in the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
Right across the island.
That's a good note too. So, Glenn, if you wouldn't mind speaking to it, because if you look at the playground up,
Main Street?
by the 50 Plus Club, the ones that are there are really bright. So I wasn't aware. I thought it was just LED was an LED. So if I'm thinking that you're at a highway intersection for your request, right, for an off ramp, you would be better to go with that type of light. So that'd be a special request, is it, Glenn?
Well, for Newfoundland Power, they actually choose what will go out there, and it all depends on if it's gonna blind travelers.
Okay, gotcha.
And I believe they get 120 watts, the ones that we put in the playground are 400.
He
Okay.
said too that the terminology that we use for the old lights, they use the same terminology, so you're replacing it with the same that's there. So he said, it's not the exact LED wattage, but it's for municipalities to keep things clear. If you know that it's 400, then it's 400. So they'll keep that clear for us.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, and just also we can remind residents as well that you can report not dark spots, but any out lights as well, as we've seen on our social media before. So make sure you continue to report those as well.
That's a great idea. So can we just, we'll share that again, I guess, all of us here that use social
Yeah, I
media
guess
share it
it's
more.
certainly in lieu of the current daylight saving time that we're in here now. It's an important step.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Great point, Councillor Langdon. Thank you for that. Any more questions? Hearing none. All those in favor? Motion carried. Thank you. We'll move on to, just bear with me here 1 second. Economic Development, Councillor Hancock.
Yeah, Economic Development Committee met November 12th, 11:30, quite briefly. Myself, Councillor Amanda Freak, and EDO, Economic Development Officer Mark Lambswood. The Heritage Funding for Canada Youth Internship Heritage Coordinator. Recommendation to approve Heritage Coordinator position for the town of Deer Lake via the Canada Youth Internship Program funding opportunity as per the EDO's email to Council. Recommendation for Council approval. Developing initial Gantt chart template for economic development, sharing with others, such as Recreation Public Works. Councillor Freak has begun a process to develop a template for the Economic Development Committee to capture and track initiatives when completed in draft form. When it's completed in draft form, to share with Council for approval and other departments should they wish to also adopt the planning tool. Councillor Freak to follow up with the template developer. Number 4, food service planning for Joe Butts, beach area and Hotter. Recommendation to arrange a focused planning meeting with Councillors Hancock, Freak, Economic Development Officer Mark Lambswood, Recreational Director Glenn Wiseman, and Communications Officer Jason, to determine a process to seek a solution for food services in these 2 key municipal areas / venues. Mark to send an invitation to all involved to arrange the meeting. Motion to adopt the Economic Development Committee minutes as presented.
Thank you for that. Moved by Councillor Hancock, seconded by Councillor Freak. Call for the question.
I just want to make note to the food service. You know, if we're going to get somebody involved at the arena now, with the opportunity of the annex just in a very short window away, along with the beach, maybe that might be a little bit more of an appealing business opportunity. So that's kind of we wanted to have a meeting of the minds to see if we can get some traction on that in town.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're at a point where we can still do that. As
Yeah,
opposed
absolutely.
to if we wait. So it's a good time.
So does the committee, and the reason I'm asking is because I've been asked a few times around town by residents, when a proposal would be looked to come out? Like, is there any...
We didn't have
estimate?
any interest in the tender for the arena, correct?
Yeah, that's, no, yeah.
No interest. So we've already went out to tender.
Yeah, no,
None.
but for, as to your comment about the
For Joe.
beach, or Joe
Yeah.
Butt, sorry.
I think we want to get it out as quickly as possible, but also do the due diligence to make sure that it's appropriate and that we're taking into consideration a lot of stakeholders in this regard. And so we know that it's something we want to get out quickly. To give a date would be impossible, I think, at this point, but we know that it needs to go out soon in order to allow people the opportunity to develop their plans and to perhaps begin some degree of, they might have construction, production, whatever. And so we know we have to get that out as quickly as possible. So we're going to set that meeting up very quickly, actually.
Yeah, and forgive me for if I meant to, not to narrow it to a date, but maybe I just...
No, yeah, but
a
no,
season, I guess, because ultimately, remember, we got kind of short on one before. We didn't have foresight to what was going to happen, but...
No, it's definitely important to ask, because I know a lot of people are asking about this specific piece, and so it's important to... I think we'll have an update for you at the very next.
Okay, appreciate it, and thank you for your work, committee members. So we have a mover and a... more questions?
Yeah,
Go,
please.
Councillor Jones.
Looking for approval for the Heritage Coordinator position. That fully funded by Heritage Canada? Or...
That's partially, that's mostly funded, but I think it's about a $2,000 cost to us, and that was in Mark's
So that should go back
budget.
It was in the budget?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And I can...
He had $2,500 for the Heritage.
I can speak to that, Councillor Jones. I attended the session that the Economic Development Officer, Mark Lambswood, put together with 2 gentlemen from St. John's, and Councillor Freak had attended. They can add a lot of value to Heritage, and just hearing their presentation, and when it's talked about how this community was developed and bringing back the train station as a museum and all the benefits of it's money well worth, and obviously it was passed in the budget last year. So, any more questions? Hearing none, no more questions.
We were going to make the recommendation for the remote employee, correct, under this? Just want to make sure everybody understood that.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
individual would be working remotely for the most part, apart from a couple visits. Mark, is that accurate?
Yeah, I guess everything, the recommendation, I think, is for council approval as per the email that outlines all
okay.
of that detail.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there were 2 applicants. One lives in Markham, Ontario, and the other lives in Conception Harbor, I believe, Newfoundland, Labrador. So neither were from the Deer Lake area, available to us, that met all the criteria that comes with the program, as well as the qualifications. So but this young lady from Conception Harbor certainly does, and has contacts with affiliation with the Heritage Foundation, Newfoundland, Labrador. Quite capable individual, and I'm comfortable meeting with her at the outset and also as required during the scope of the period that we would hire her for.
Excellent.
All right, so we have a mover, seconder, we call for question, all those in favor? Motion carried. Councillor Hancock, would you like to do the purchase policy? I guess it's-
Sure. Yeah, so this is, just give me one sec here, I just gotta get to it. Here it is. Yeah, so this is a policy that's come across 3 times. This is the third time. And, there were suggestions for change, and those were taken back and applied, and so here it is the third time coming back. Now, it's not to say that if someone doesn't have a suggestion for change that they can't go back again. We like to do this right, obviously, when this comes through. But this is the internal procurement policy drafted by staff and then adjusted by staff.
Okay, so.
And so, I would make the motion that we adopt this policy as presented, unless there's some notable changes to be made.
Is everyone comfortable? Everyone's had a chance to read through it? All right, so we have a mover. Here we go again. A mover, call for, seconder, sorry. Second by Councillor Fitzgerald. Call for a question. Hearing none, all those in favor? Motion carried. And now we are at the end of conclusion of the meeting. Let's see here. All right.
Mike, the procurement, there was a company at the M&L conference that you can now actually hire, that they can do your sourcing for you to follow your procurement act and then find you the cheapest price as well. Called, Canoe Procurement.
I spoke with one of their reps.
Yep.
Did anyone get a contact?
Yep, I got it there.
Okay, so where would you choose? I guess that's Maxine or someone?
Yep, so Maxine, like if there was something in particular that we were looking for, we would use them, and I'll get that to you.
Okay,
was,
perfect.
Brett, did you get that from the trade show as well? The canoe procurement, they were like the third trade show in, remember? Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, just
Could be a valuable resource.
absolutely.
Sure.
Definitely. All right, thank you for that. Date of the next meeting will be November 29th, so I'll call for a motion to adjourn. Moved by Councillor Freak.